So, Doctor, month of November, the 30-30 challenge is going on. Everybody's talking about health. You're talking about women's health and health empowerment. You said
Yeah, yeah,
so. That's your message. So,
yeah,
uh, tell us about your personal health. You do a lot of activities. You
yeah,
do trekking. You're learning
yeah.
how to skate. You know how to ski. You know so many things that I don't know, and I can't even hula hoop. So,
I can hula hoop as well.
oh my goodness! See, that's all I needed to hear. So, what gives you that kind of energy to go and try
I
all of
think
this?
this energy is slightly, part of it is inherent. I suppose my father, who was 85, who would, after retirement, like he's like a restless soul. He wants to do something. And because he had a dad, farmer and all that, he comes from farming side. And we actually bought some land as well. He developed that land completely barren with only patthar in it, stones in it.
Right.
He kind of planted some 300 coconut trees and grown them and all that.
Wow.
So he would go every week to this village. He had to change 2 buses, and he would never take the car because for him it was like, why waste money. So he would take a bus and get down and then wait there, and so whole day he would spend going back and forth and doing all that. So the energy, I would say, is partly genetic.
Right.
So I have to say that I'm just hoping that when I'm 85, I'm going to be as active as he was. that's my wish. And so wherever I go, I'm like since college days, wherever I go, I've tried to find a gym and a swimming pool and some kind of activity. I'd never done I'd done some small treks, but never done sort of really big high altitude treks.
Right.
Recently, I think one of my colleagues was doing it, and through the hospital, Prime Hospital, he was organizing, and he said, "Would you like to come?" And I said, "That's good." So I did the Kilimanjaro trek, the 5,900 meters, very high.
Right.
And I never thought I would do it, actually. I just thought, let me go give it a try. And I managed it. Last day, I almost crawled up to the thing. Because I did the Kilimanjaro trek, you won't believe it, with absolutely no training. No
Wow.
training. Like me and my husband had COVID.
Right.
My husband almost died from COVID, and he was like really ill when this thing was happening. And I was thinking, I can't go for the trek. Then he got better. He came out of his critical stage, and then I just felt like life is very unpredictable, and I just need to do what I need to do now.
Right.
So I said, I'm coming for the trek. And people were putting up posts like, we did 100 squats and this and that. I'm like, nothing. I'm not even walking. I'm just going to do this trek. And I went with the trek. I think I personally feel I was able to complete it because I went with no expectations. I said, I'm a fit person anyway. I will do the first day, not a big deal. Second day with difficulty I'll do. Third day I'll probably drag myself and do it. After that it's okay, I can come back. So I went with 3-day expectation of the trek, and it was a 5-day trek, and the last day is the most difficult.
Right.
Because of the low oxygen and everything.
Right.
The last day was, I somehow managed to do the 4th day also. So the last day was like, you have this ego of how can you come back on the last day? you almost there, but you weren't almost there. You were like 1,000 meters still to go.
Right.
But I crawled up that place, and I can't remember. But what I realized was when I did it is that I excelled my own expectations. And it taught me one thing. And I always say this wherever I've spoken, I've said about this. We all have, forget about the boundaries that the society puts, the people around us put for us, saying that you can't do this, you can't do that. You have in your own subconscious mind that, mere se nahi hoga, this is not for me, I
The
can't
limiting
do it.
beliefs.
That is the biggest limitation. You can, when somebody says you can't do this, you kind of, no, I can do this, and you want to challenge them. But when your own mind has decided that you cannot do this, you're not even thinking of challenging it.
Right.
You're convinced, you're like brainwashed that you can't do this kind of a thing. And that day I felt like, I was like, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can do this. But let me do it. Let me do it. I mean, I'm the kind of a person who doesn't give up very easily. So I somehow did it. After that, I did that. I felt, how can I even have a line for myself? The moment you put a line, you're limiting yourselves. We all have to learn to take that line off us. Right. Everything is achievable if you try. If you don't try, obviously nothing is going to be done. So breaking your own boundaries is what I realized. And I always felt like I can do a lot of things in life. Now I feel I can do anything in life.
That's
if God
nice.
permits.
That's very
And
nice.
I do a lot of activities. As I've grown older, I've changed all my activities into pleasurable ones, all the physical activities. Like, for example, I don't do aerobics. I do only dance classes.
Okay. Okay.
So dance is a form of aerobics, and nowadays Bollywood dance is the best thing. So I'm doing belly dancing, Bollywood dancing, break dancing, all kinds of dancing. I don't know how to dance, but I'm learning. So I'm learning skating. I've done the second class now. Then a few years back, I learned skiing. We go on a regular basis every year for skiing in France. So the trekking, do a lot of stair climbing, which is a very good exercise. So anything that comes in a that makes me happy and not as an exercise. I'm not the one who would stick to exercise just for the just for the reason that you have to do an exercise.
Right.
Okay, I can't do it,
Okay.
and I think most of us can't. If you say you have to go to the gym for this blah 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 for purposes, you will not feel like. If there's a for any girl, I'm just talking about, or any guy, if there's a sexy physical instructor there, male or female, then that gives you a motivation to go. So you need a motivation to do the thing. And for me, the motivation is, if I'm listening to music and dance, it gives me a lot of motivation. It makes me feel good.
Right.
So that is one of the things that I do. So I do it now. The recent thing that I'm thinking of venturing into is the aerial gymnastics.
Oh, what is that? Okay.
So
Okay.
basically, now you said you can't even hula hoop. So I can hula hoop. And the very reason I actually employed a trainer to teach me how to hula hoop. Okay. Because I said, it is so amazing. How do people do it? I really want to do it. And once you learn it, it's easy to do. It's a good exercise as well for your core muscles.
Right.
And it's really a pleasurable exercise because you are kind of just going like that and, very, very nice.
Right.
So I have a hula hoop at home. I don't do it regularly. I should actually. Then different kind of dances teach your body different movements. Like, for example, in belly dancing, you get a lot of rotational muscles that you use,
Right.
which you wouldn't use in other dances. And similarly, in break dances, you learn to segregate each muscle. When you're moving, you know exactly which muscle. So you individualize and train a muscle. So I feel each dance, that's the reason I started doing different dances.
Right.
Because I said I'm learning Kathak also. So Kathak teaches you the gracefulness of any movement.
Right.
So different ways. So the aerial, myself and my sister, when we were in the UK, we did trampolining for a while.
Okay.
So we were adults, but we decided we'll go learn trampolining, and it was really, it's like trampolining is for children, so it's got that energy of that, you're jumping up and down, you're doing those somersault kind of a thing.
Right.
You really feel like you're young, very young.
Right.
So then suddenly recently I realized that I was looking for trampolining. I thought it's a good exercise and I want to get back to it. But I couldn't find adult trampolining classes. While I was looking, I suddenly found gymnastics. I'm like thinking, they say you have to be young to do the gymnastics because you're stretching in various ways. I do yoga. Right. So I thought, let me try the gymnastics. I'm sure one thing I've realized is that now, not just me, the science now says there's something called neuroplasticity of the brain.
Okay.
So we used to believe before that only a child's brain can grow, can learn new things, and the neurons can grow and do things and get better. Once you've reached an adult stage, there's not much of room for improvement. So it's like, I'm like this only since birth type thing. But recently there's a lot of evidence to say that neuroplasticity of brain is not limited to the child's brain.
Right.
It lasts till you're alive.
Right.
Now, only thing is, it requires a stronger stimulus. It is not as quick as, if you're teaching a child, the child can learn cycling very quickly. If you're learning cycling at the age of 40, you might find it much more harder to learn, but you can learn.
Right.
So the stimulus is what keeps making the brain, grow.
Right.
So gymnastics, that's where we came to gymnastics. So I'm thinking like it'll make my body more flexible. Yoga and gymnastics, they make your joint and body more flexible.
Right.
So as you grow older, I'm 55 now, as you grow older, the most limiting factor is the flexibility. It is not even fitness or the weight.
Okay.
You can build muscles.
Right.
It's difficult to build muscles, but you can still build. But the joint flexibility, the ligament flexibility starts slowly going down.
Right.
So as it goes down, you start kind of decreasing things that you're doing. You become less mobile, which means you become less mobile, it becomes even restrictive. Then your mind starts becoming, your reflexes are low and your mind starts becoming, getting older. So if you can maintain the same agility and the flexibility like a child in the body, you can remain like a child in the mind. That's the thought process. So gymnastics, I decided I'll learn, and I've started looking at it. And then I saw something called aerial gymnastics. I've inquired, I haven't been to the class yet. So it's basically you're hanging by ropes and you're doing a lot of
Wow. Okay.
sort of, turning and twisting and things like that.
Right.
So they told me that you do the land one first to get a few classes, and then you can go on to the aerial one. So I'm going to book a class and try it out.
All the best, Doc.